News Talk 1000 WKDE Altavista. News, weather, sports, and information all day long.
With so many changes in taxes, healthcare, more legislation, and bureaucracy,
you need someone in the media to keep you ahead of Big Brother and Big Government.
That's why Herman Cain is on your radio.
Big Government is not our friend.
Herman Cain still speaks for you and for America.
Our founding fathers did their job. We must be the defending fathers, because life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness will not mean a thing if we do not protect those ideals.
Herman Cain knows the inner workings of American business, the economy, government, politics, the Fed, and the IRS.
Real life experiences from business, politics, and life.
Now you'll hear him every day, coast to coast on your radio.
Listen to Herman Cain every weekday morning from 9 to noon on News Talk 1000.
I'm Megan Lucas, Economic Development Director for Altavista, Virginia, and host of It's Your Business, the area's new and only talk show on topics such as economic development, urban growth, business expansion, real estate development, and much, much more. If you work in the Altavista Central Virginia economy, or if you care at all about the local community, and I know you do, you'll love the fascinating topics and guests on It's Your Business. Tune in every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. right here on News Talk 1000 WKDE. You know, as the community grows, we're becoming more and more cosmopolitan. The transformation from a good community to a great communities makes for a lot of really exciting talk. It's Your Business will explore exciting topics related to the Altavista and the metro area's future development. We're really thrilled that First National Bank of Altavista and Lynchburg's premier commercial bank is the proud sponsor of It's Your Business. We're pleased to have them on board, and more importantly, we're pleased to have them in our communities. Please join me this morning in welcoming Ramonda Davis. Ramonda is the Assistant Vice President and E-Commerce Sales Officer. She works with businesses across Region 2000 to provide merchant bank card services, remote deposit capture, and online banking services. Good morning, Ramonda. How are you?
Good morning, Megan. Thanks for having me.
Well, you're welcome. Hey, how long have you been with the bank?
I have been with First National for 5 years.
For 5 years. So you're the Vice President and E-Commerce Sales Officer. What does that entail?
Well, a lot of people wonder, what does e-commerce actually mean? And it's actually the paperless exchange of information and funds. So that's basically what that means. So when you think of online banking, you're thinking about that paperless exchange. When you're thinking of merchant processing, you're thinking of swiping a card and being able to get money on the other end of that. Remote deposit capture is scanning deposits right there at that business.
I've got to tell you, that's new. How long have we been able to scan deposits from our business? Because I've just figured it out in the past year.
We've actually at First National have been doing it for about a year and a half.
What a great thing to do. You know, you take your check, run to the bank, fill out the deposit slip, and slide it in the drawer. But now, if you have a scanner at your office, a scanner at home, you can scan that check right in and off it goes. That's amazing to me.
It's a great opportunity, and it actually helps the businesses owners for not having to have to drive to the bank and make their deposits.
And that's really critical for the very small 1 to 2 person shops where they would normally have to close up and run to the bank. Of course, it doesn't help with cash. We can't scan our cash, can we?
Not yet.
Yeah. So it doesn't help with our cash, but it sure makes it easier to help businesses do their banking. And I think anything that makes it easier for a business to be more efficient and effective is a great tool. And I think that's fantastic that the businesses who bank with First National have that opportunity. Are there any specific challenges with that?
Well, you're dealing with computers and you're dealing with their type of systems.
Right.
So, they have to be, have the more advanced settings to be able to do that, because it's actually capturing the picture of the scanned document and it's going on a web page, and then it's actually being sent straight to us at the bank, and
That's
then we
amazing.
send it to the Fed. So, yes, you do have to have certain things there in place to be able to have that product.
Yeah. Technology makes everything really great, but sometimes it can be a kick in the pants too.
That's right.
So what do you like most about your job job and what you get to do at First National?
I really enjoy merchant processing. The industry itself is very complicated, and I really like to educate people, our business owners. A lot of times they are taken advantage of, and I like to go in and explain their rates and how it works. They always say, "What's your rate?"
Yeah.
And every rate is different depending on the card that is swiped. So I really enjoy that. I actually program the terminals. I go in and train the people how to use them. And the great thing about it at First National is I see both sides. I see the merchant piece side, and I also see the checking account side. So I'm able to help them on both ends.
Well, and that's what's great about that too is you've got such a dynamic personality, and you're so warm that when you're and welcoming that when you're training somebody, you put them at ease very quickly, because it can be intimidating, I would think.
It is, but it's actually gotten to where you can just swipe a card, put in the amount, and hit the enter button.
That's simple.
Very simple.
And make sure that the machine you're swiping is connected to something.
Yes, you can do a phone line, you can do the internet, or you can also go to a web-based product and actually go right online and swipe a card reader, and it goes right in the system.
Now,
for you.
how has and I may be way off base on this, but we've seen that include the new to the industry is the Square.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same technology, or is that a competitor?
We actually have a product called Roam.
Oh, Roam.
Roam, and it's a device that attaches to your smartphone, and you're able to process just like Squared.
Great. And you go right through First National.
That's correct. And that product alone this month has just been a very big product.
It's called Roam.
Roam.
If businesses are listening, large or small, and they're interested in Roam or want to know more about e-commerce, how do they get a hold of you?
They can reach me. I have a cell number. I have an office number. You can also reach me via email. You can also text me.
Fantastic. Do you want to give any of that out today for people to listen, or
actually,
just call the
absolutely. You can. My cell number is always the best way to reach me, and that's 944-3201.
That's wonderful. Well, we're thrilled to have First National Bank as a sponsor of It's Your Business, and certainly thrilled to be in Altavista. What location do you work at?
I actually have an office at the Vista location.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Well, thanks so much for being on It's Your Business this morning. I hope you have a great Saturday, and if you're not doing anything this afternoon, make sure you go down to Avoca for the beer festival, which will be a lot of fun.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for coming.
All right.
How about that, folks? For all your e-commerce needs, don't forget to call First National Bank. Ramonda Davis, Assistant Vice President and E-commerce Sales Officer, will help you with all of that. Anything that makes your business run more effectively and efficiently is always a good thing. So I encourage all you small business owners and business owners out there to take a look at your processes and how you do your banking and finance, and give First National Bank a call. They'll be happy to help you. And again, once again, thanks so much to First National Bank. They've been custom banking since 1908, and they're, again, a proud sponsor of It's Your Business. But moving on this morning, I'm so excited to introduce everybody to Stan Goldsmith. Stan is the Campbell County Board of Supervisor, and he represents the Altavista election district. And as most of you know, I'm new to the area, but Stan is not. He has been in this community for a long time, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Good morning, Stan. How are you?
Good morning, Megan. I'm fine, thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you.
It's so good to see you. I'm glad you could come out and join us this morning. It's a beautiful morning.
Yes, it is. Thanks for the opportunity.
So now I've been in Altavista 9 months. How long have you been in Altavista?
I came to work for Altavista back in 1977.
So a long time. I was just little.
Yeah, and I stayed there as a manager for 20 years, so I retired from the town in 1997.
Well, fantastic. And then you didn't like retirement. You just wanted to continue to stay involved, and you decided to run for Board of Supervisors?
Well, that was my second retirement for 20 years.
Okay.
The first 20 years was in the Army. And then I decided to work with Region 2000, which I had been participating in when I was town manager. And I spent 6 years there as the executive director for Region 2000, and then decided it was time to retire again, maybe this time for the final time. However, that didn't work either. So a couple of years after that, I decided to run for the election district, Altavista election district, when Calvin Carter, my predecessor, passed away. And so far it's been fine, a great experience. This is finishing up my 5th year, starting in my 6th year. And we're doing fine as a county, and I'm really pleased to be able to do that.
Well, first of all, let me thank you for your service. How many years did you do in the Army?
20.
Short timer.
Yes.
And what did you specialize in there?
I was an Army engineer.
Great.
I had a number of duties. I was overseas several times, and had a lot to do with construction, a lot to do with combat engineering, and a number of things. I was a resident engineer in Turkey for construction companies over there for the civil component. So I had an interesting career.
Absolutely. Well, engineers are critical, and I know the Army has a long, storied history with engineers. Of course, you know, I'm Air Force girl, so we won't get into that. But I certainly appreciate your service very much, and everybody who's serving today and everybody who's served in the past. We couldn't be doing what we're doing this morning without all the heroic men and women who've served. So thanks so much. So back to the Board of Commissioners. Or supervisors, Board of Supervisors.
Mm-hmm.
You like it? Have you been happy with it?
Yeah, I have, because I've had a real education on what county government is all like. It was a little different than being in the town, even though we were part of the county, because my position as the town manager was different than being on the board. It really is a difference. There I was the person who executed the requirements in the county, the things the board wanted to do, and now I'm part of that decision-making process. And it's a different way to get things done. But I'm very pleased with Campbell County's operation. We have an excellent administrator. We have an excellent staff. And the board is very effective in what they do and very careful. And I'm really appreciative of the opportunity to work with a great bunch of people.
Well, and I think it's great, too, from the perspective of you've been on the administrator side. So does it make you a better supervisor or a more challenging supervisor? Do you know what I mean?
I do. I understand your question. Sometimes I think it makes me a more challenged supervisor.
Okay.
Because old habits are hard to break, and a lot of things I did as a manager, I cannot do anymore. I have to realize that it's a different role, and sometimes I have to be reminded of those things.
Yeah.
But all in all, it's been very good for me, and I hope it's been good for the county.
Well, Campbell County, boy, we are growing. Of course, Altavista is part of Campbell County, but there's been some really great things happening. You know, I was just reading the other day about Liberty University's medical school. They're way ahead of schedule, and English Construction, of course, is running that program up there, and that's in Campbell County.
Yes, it is, and it's been amazing to see what Liberty has done as far as growth is concerned over the last number of years. It never ends. They just continuously building and expanding and bringing in more and more programs, which is a wonderful thing, considering years ago it was questionable as to whether or not they were even going to stay here.
Oh, sure. You know, everybody identifies Liberty University, certainly with Lynchburg, and it's part of the Metro, it's part of Region 2000, but it's great to say it's part of Campbell County, too. And you know, as a commissioner, or I'm sorry, I keep saying commissioner, it's a Nebraska habit. As a supervisor, you had a hand, you had a role in voting, and not just with that, but with all the growth that we're seeing over on that edge of the county.
It's very important to the life of the county and as well as the whole region. And one of the things that I think is particularly significant about what Campbell County has been doing, along with the other jurisdictions in this area, is a part of the regional approach to things. And we all have a share in what happens in this area.
Absolutely.
It doesn't make any difference if a business goes into Altavista because it's going to provide jobs for people as far away as Appomattox. It doesn't make any difference if the business goes into Bedford because people in Altavista are going to have a chance to work there. Mm-hmm. And so regional competition and regional cooperation has really been very significant. And that's one of the things I think that Campbell County can be proud of because it's been there from the beginning and has made a lot of things possible that might not have been possible otherwise.
Yeah. What do you think would you say, having been on the board of supervisors now, did you say 4 years, 5 years? What's been the biggest challenge?
Well, it'd be hard not to say that the budget has always been a big challenge. Between the last downfall, the last few years with regard to the economy, just trying to make sure that we kept our head above water and we were able to continue to fund our basic services and requirements. It's been a challenge, but it's been one I think the county has been very aggressive in meeting because we've made some significant changes and alterations in how we approach things. Mm-hmm. And as a result, we've cut back on things, we've delayed things, we've put money away. And while we are not an overly wealthy county, we are one that is solidly financially solid, and I think that speaks well of the administration as well as what the board has been willing to do and understand.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what's been the most fun or the biggest surprises of being on the board?
I'm not sure it's been a surprise, but I think one of the things that's very rewarding is to see how well the staff works and how good they cooperate and how well things have been able to run. We've taken on a number of initiatives. One is to expand our EMS program, but even that has evolved to the point where now, even though we have more paid staff, we still depend on the volunteers, and yet it's getting more and more difficult to find the volunteers because giving up the time that's required to serve in that capacity as well as attend the training is very demanding.
Absolutely.
And it becomes much more difficult to be able to do that. And yet we continue to reach out to people and encourage them to participate and support those that do.
You mentioned the staff, and I have to say, I have, being new to Virginia and new to Altavista and certainly Campbell County, Mike Davidson, your economic development director, has been really a great mentor for me and a partner in educating me along the way and helping me learn the ropes in this community. And you've got a really great economic development director there, and I certainly appreciate him. I work the most closely with him as far as the county goes.
And I think that's well said and well done, because Mike is very aggressive and very intelligent and very careful about how he does things. And having served on the board himself for several years,
right.
He understands the way the board operates, and he understands economic development. When I was in Region 2000, we were able to work together there in the same capacity. And I think that his experience there, as well as what he's been doing in the county, and his willingness to work with other locations, makes all the difference in the world.
Were you, you've been in Altavista 20 years. And you don't have to answer this if you want to, but were you, when Altavista started to make the plans to hire an economic developer specific for the community, what side of the fence were you for that?
Actually, I was kind of in the middle, to be honest with you, because I was supportive of the need. I was supportive of what Mike Davidson was doing, not only for the county but for the towns as well as Region 2000. So I really wasn't convinced that it was necessary for the town to have its own personal person. But having met you and experienced your experience and seen what you've been able to do, I say that the decision was a good one.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. I think that Mike absolutely has done a great job for the town and will continue, and I like the partnership that the two of us have together, and I certainly appreciate all his hard work.
I don't think people really recognize the challenges that economic development people face.
No,
Every county, every town, every city in the country is vying for some new business to come in and build in their location.
Oh, yeah.
And the competition is fierce.
Yep.
And the ability to provide significant incentives to attract those people and give yourself an edge is really a challenge.
It is.
And not everybody can afford to do it the way they would like to. Some states have gone all out and put in millions and millions of dollars in incentives, recognizing, however, that there was a payback period that they insist had to be met. And so we've done the same things, although maybe not to the same extent, but still in all, it takes a lot of cooperation.
Yep.
It takes a real strong person to understand the needs and the initiative that's necessary to get out and meet people and to make those things happen.
Yeah, it does. It does. Well, I appreciate your support. So you're on the board. Do you have any responsibilities other than coming to meetings? Other than your regular.
Every board member is assigned to at least two committees.
Okay.
I'm on the joint school board committee, where we meet periodically with the school board and to discuss matters of common interest to both the Board of Supervisors and the school board. I'm also on the Smith Mountain Lake program called TLAC and TCRC. That's the Tri-County Lakes Administration Council.
Oh, wow.
Leesville Lake, which is our part of the presentation, our part of the mix, has not yet fully gained significance in that relationship, but we're working on that, because the Smith Mountain Lake project is a two-lake project. The folks around Smith Mountain have gotten used to thinking in terms of being one lake, but it really is a two-lake project.
And Leesville Lake is the
Leesville Lake is the other one, because that's a power-producing project, and it operates in such a way that the electricity that's generated when Smith Mountain releases into Leesville Lake is the way they generate electricity, and the way they maintain the head on the lake, the Smith Mountain Lake, is to pump it back from Leesville so that it maintains the head. So it's a continuous cycle. Mm-hmm. But it's very important because both of them are bound up together, obviously, in this project. Right. And so it's taking a little education on the part of everybody to help understand that we can benefit, again, like regional concepts, to working together.
Yeah, the old saying, two heads are better than one, and the same concept applies to working together as communities, as lakes, as towns, as cities, as counties, as metro areas. Mm-hmm. So good luck with that. What else? So you're on those two committees? Mm-hmm. Is there anything else at the supervisor level?
Nothing specific as far as assignments are concerned, but we all obviously have to weigh in on issues that come before us. And usually what happens is when the school has a recommendation, or the Lake Commission has a recommendation, it comes back before the board. We who are on the committees make the recommendations and support if there's a motion to be made. And the others, of course, have to understand what we're doing and why we're doing it. And they each have the same opportunity to do that. We expect each other to make a recommendation with regard to what those committees have been dealing with. I served on the Economic Development Committee with Mike for some time, the first few years of my service on the board, as well as some other things, and it's including EMS and fire services as well. So we get rotated around. So we have a chance to become familiar with the problems as well as trying to help with the solutions.
So as for citizens of Alta Vista, do you get a lot of citizen input? Do citizens reach out to you on issues relevant to the county, or are citizens pretty quiet?
It depends on the issues. There's a number of issues going on that are always of interest to people. We just finished work on a noise ordinance, and those issues affect people that want to put on recreational programs as well as people enjoying the comfort of their own homes and businesses as well. And so it's important, and people will tell you if they think we're headed off in the wrong direction or we need to rethink some things. As a matter of fact, we made some significant changes in our noise ordinance because of the feedback we got from people.
And you got lots of media attention for that too,
we,
as well.
We did that as well.
But that's good. So what was decided with the noise?
We changed our decibel level readings, and we're a little more lenient than we had originally planned. That made a difference. And we found out that by working with the people who are providing the recreational programs, a reorientation of how they were presenting their programs and where their music was made a difference as how it affected the people around them. Because the whole thing is to allow people to be able to do these things, but on the other hand, protect the interests of the people that live there.
Right. So what's in the pipeline, so to speak, for the Board of Supervisors? What are you all working on now? Any big projects or anything that's taken some attention?
Probably the biggest thing to come before us right now is going to take a number of years to resolve, and that's the school consolidation.
Absolutely.
It's a big issue. It really is. And frankly, we're not really all together on that issue just yet because we're trying to weigh in the balance what the benefits are, not only financially, which are, of course, always weigh in heavily, but also what is the benefit to the student? What is the benefit to the family? What is the benefit to the communities that are involved? And is it more of a detriment than a benefit? We need to really analyze that and make sure we're not cutting off our nose to spite our face.
Right.
As I've said to people before, bigger is not always better. It is always bigger.
Yeah, it is always bigger. Now, when I moved here several months ago, before the election, the county had the meals tax, and that failed. Do you think, is the county talking about going at that again? I mean, paying for the schools, paying for the services that we receive from the county, they have to be paid for. And the meals tax, people from outside the county come into our county and eat, and I know that's a way of capturing those dollars. But what are your thoughts? You want to talk about that a little bit?
Well,
it's a hot topic, I think. It was.
Well, I've always been a proponent of that because we had to bring that up and make that decision in Alta Vista several years ago.
Right.
Alta Vista always prided itself on being able to pay its own bills and was able to function within its capabilities. But I'm going back now to make a point, and that was that we needed some money that we didn't have the benefit of having when we had to borrow money in order to expand our waste treatment plant. That was made up on the meals tax. It was critically important, and it was critically necessary.
Here in Alta Vista.
Here in Alta Vista. Now, the town already has that and has had that, and it's been very worthwhile in helping them meet their requirements, their budget needs. The county, on the other hand, has to be dealt with differently because we have to go out to referendum. We can't just automatically approve it. And the strange thing about that is only counties, not cities, not towns, have to do that. So we're at the mercy of the public as to whether or not we're able to do that. Now, what we hope to be able to do is to try to convince people that the meals tax was not just another tax. It was a substitute tax for not having to raise the real estate tax and the personal property taxes as much. And the people that would be paying the meals tax were not necessarily all county people.
Exactly.
There were people who were driving through, who have business through, coming through. And so what's really happened is that we in Campbell County who eat in Lynchburg or other places where they have a meals tax, we're helping them pay their bills.
Absolutely.
And no one is helping us.
Yep.
And so we felt like that was not necessarily doing it because they did it, but because it was a way to cut back on the only sources we have for income is those that I mentioned, the real estate and personal property. And so had we been able to approve that, instead of having to raise our real estate tax 7 cents, we would have only had to raise it 2 cents.
Wow.
That's a significant change over the years.
Absolutely.
And then it all depends on how often you eat out. If you don't want to eat out, you don't have to pay any tax.
Right.
So, it had some benefits. Unfortunately, there was a movement in the county that tried to make sure that there were no more taxes passed and the taxes were lowered rather than raised and all those things. And those are all good thoughts. I'm not making light of that.
Yeah.
The problem is reality sets in. And I've commented on people when they run for re-election. I said, please think about what you're doing. I never campaigned on not being willing to raise taxes because I never knew, and I still don't, what is going to be facing the board that we may have no other choice.
Sure.
And so you have to make choices. And so this was a choice. Unfortunately, it wasn't popular, and so it didn't happen. It'll be a number of years before it comes back again because the board put a lot of their effort into it, and it's difficult when you're defeated. And,
Yeah.
and so we're going to have to make a case for it again if and when it ever comes up. But it happens in other counties the same way. So Pennsylvania County had to do it 3 times before it finally was approved. And so we're not alone in that issue. We just need to rethink it.
Well, I appreciate you taking time this morning to chat with me. Is there anything that I didn't bring up that you wanted to touch on?
Only to remind people that local government is constantly facing what the state and the federal government's mandate to us.
Yeah.
And that term has been used time and time again. Fortunately, the governor this time, Governor O'Donnell, decided to set a committee in motion to try to minimize the mandates, and that's helped some. The concern we all have is whether or not that will be passed on to the next administration.
Sure.
Because if it isn't, then we're still in trouble because we simply cannot fund those things unless we do what we talked about a few minutes ago and find out other sources of funding.
Yeah, general population seems to think it's great that government does X for us or Y for us, but they fail to, sometimes we forget that in order to do those things, the money has to come from somewhere. And just because the federal government says you will do as we say, they don't often fund those mandates. And it's devastating to communities when those sorts of things happen. So that's a very good point, and I really appreciate you making it. How can voters get a hold of you if they've got something they want to talk to you about?
I usually put an article in the Journal every once in a while. I don't do it on a regular basis. I try to wait until I have an issue that I think the Journal is doing a very good job at reporting on these things, so it hasn't really. But anyway, when I do that, I put my phone number in there, which is 434-369-1021. My email address has been leesville6344@embarkmail.com.
Well, Stan, thanks so much for joining me this morning. I really appreciate it. I'm going to move on to some announcements, and then we'll get out and enjoy our day.
All right. Thank you, Megan.
Real quick, everybody, I'd like to give you some announcements. Altavista Chamber of Commerce, you can reach them at 434-369-6665. Of course, Altavista Chamber is working hard to grow and sustain the Altavista business community, so if you're not a member, please consider joining today. On Friday, June 28th, the Altavista Chamber is going to host another TGIF from 5:30 to 9, and that'll be at Avoca. You'll want to come out for food, fun, music, and great business-to-business networking. AOT, Altavista On Track, another fabulous organization, really making a significant impact in the community of Altavista. They'll have the Classic Car Cruise-In on Main Saturday, July 6th from 5 to 8:30. For more information, contact AOT at 434-944-5530 or visit altavistaontrack.com. And if you're not doing anything today, and it is a beautiful day, get on out to Avoca. If you live in Altavista or you're within listening distance, hop in your car and come to Avoca Museum for Made in the Shade Beer Craft Festival. That's today, June 22nd, from noon to 6 p.m. Avoca Museum is hosting the first Made in the Shade Craft Beer Festival. The festival will feature local craft brews from around Virginia, as well as wine selections, along with Avoca's bake sale, hot dogs, hamburgers, and pizza. Local vendors will set up with jewelry, soaps, and other novelties for purchase while listening to live music provided by Michelle Motley and Diamondback, Leslie Brooks, and Second Wind. Tickets are available at Miller's Jewelry in Altavista, the Avoca Museum, and through the Lynch Station Ruritan Club. Tasting tickets will be $15 pre-sale and $18 at the door, with 6 coupons for tasting included. Get on down to Altavista to Avoca for the Made in the Shade Beer Festival. It's going to be a beautiful day, folks, and that's going to be a great festival. So hop in your car and come visit Altavista. Also, Altavista Rotary, they're going to host the 2nd annual Altavista River Festival presented by the Rotary Club. The Altavista Rotary is going to host the Riverfest again this year in English Park on August 3rd. For information, go to altavistarotaryclub.com. It's the cardboard boat races, everybody, and you can get your cardboard at Steve Farmer Auto. So if you're thinking about a design or you want to improve on a design from last year, or got something new in mind, go visit Steve Farmer Auto and get your cardboard and start designing your boats today. The Lynchburg Chamber of Commerce, you can reach them at 434-845-5966. They've got a women's luncheon series presented by Centra, and the lunch will be held on June 27th at noon, and you can contact the Chamber for information about that. Their speaker will be Lori Murrah. Lori is a certified business coach with Achieve Successes, which she formed in April of 2008. She's going to talk about turning busy into results, which will help you to become more intentional with your decisions and actions, help you take ownership of the choices you make, and live in alignment with what's most important to you so that you can achieve results with passion and purpose. You contact the Lynchburg Chamber of Commerce if you'd like to attend that event. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I really appreciate it. My name is Megan Lucas, and I'm the Economic Development Director for the town of Altavista, Virginia. If you'd like more information about anything you've heard, or you have questions, comments, or feedback for me, just give me a buzz at 434-369-5001. Have a great weekend, everybody, and I'll see you at Avoca for the Made in the Shade Brew Festival.
Have you looked at your business banking fees lately? I'm Sean Stone with First National Bank, and we have the best business accounts which offer serious savings for your company. We have a full menu of business products from checking accounts and remote deposit capture to online banking. And we have a local merchant card representative who will customize services just for your business. So let First National Bank prepare an analysis of your current activity and show how we will reduce your banking fees. First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. 2 hours of bluegrass music on Sunday mornings and Bill Gaither at 10 a.m. and Central Baptist Church at 11 a.m. Only on NewsTalk 1000 WKDE. One more time. 2 hours of bluegrass music on Sunday mornings and Bill Gaither at 10 and Central Baptist Church at 11 a.m. Only on NewsTalk 1000 WKDE.